welcome to episode 124 to Take a Pull podcast. We're turning out like John Ryan horses here, Deck. Another one, second pod in 2 days, but thoroughly enjoying it. Always the best time of year now. The clocks have gone back, the evenings are getting shorter. What else are you going to do? Record a podcast and talk horse form. So, how are things with you? All good?
Yeah, all good. I enjoyed last night. Even it didn't get to go ahead, but really looking forward to this Punchestown card now. Really looking forward to it. Love being at Punchestown. Love going to Punchestown. And much like Berryhouse, like they recognise ourselves and they're quite good to us. So, but I do love going to Punchestown. I obviously get a lovely warm welcoming feeling when you come through the gate, and I suppose it's National Hunt headquarters in Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a person that drinks cider too often, but if you get the weather in April, late April, down at the Punchestown Festival, let's say it's low 20s, and you've got that. You wouldn't call it a twilight card, but the way the first race usually around 24 like that, and you have that first sip of cider, and your horses are going around. They're about to go out into the banks for the Ladies Perpetual or the something like that. Yeah, life is nice.
The thing about the Punchestown Festival is, like, I don't think there's another atmosphere like it. It's quite relaxed, but there's top class horses on show, and as you said, it's they've moved a lot of the days forward again, but like whether you're there or not, you come home from work at 5:30 and there's a grade 1 going off, and
it can't beat it, can you? Yeah.
The sun is shining, and you can hear the noise, and that kind of relaxed atmosphere coming through the telly, it's a nice time of the year. There's a good stretch in the evenings, and it's a brilliant race course as well. Like it's probably the best race course in the country. Like they've probably about 10 tracks there. They've the Banks course, and they've top class people. So I'm gonna try get there on Thursday. Even if it's just for a couple of hours. I do love getting down there.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, you're right. It is Ireland's kind of headquarters for racing. Like, if any trainer has any horse, or if you own any horse, like it's nearly impossible to not find a race at any stage of the year. Punchestown. It doesn't matter if the horse is rated 75. It doesn't matter if the horse is rated 160, or anywhere in between, or any discipline in between. It's if you want to run her at Ireland's premier National Hunt racetrack and you have a horse, it's just choosing your race, really. Like anyone can run there, so it's
very different to Britain in that way. Like it's you can what you said, you can run. Like, speaking of the horses rated 75,
that's yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, look, we're in good form, so we're gonna keep going, and we've got an 8-race card starting at 11:50.
8-race card and no bumpers.
And no bumpers, just the way we like it. Right, we'll get started then, Deck, because it's an 8-race card. We won't take people's time. We're doing a lot of that this week with Navan still to come as well. Can't wait for that. And maybe a little bit of Navan at the end, potential matchups and stuff that we're doing online. Right, let's start with the Matchbook Betting Exchange Handicap Chase. A not to 100 straight out the gate, Deck. We've got a big field, 18 runners. Speaking about horses, any horse can run here. The lowest rated here, in bulk, which I think is like winter, Halloween or something in Irish. I think it's not in bulk. I think it's like the late season or something. It's Halloween, isn't it? Is it
not
possibly?
Halloween,
no, I think it might be one of a pagan Irish festival. But anyway, he's rated 72 nonetheless. So we've got field of 18. This is a tricky one to start with, or is it really? Because there's a horse that we talked about here, a week or two ago, that they were waiting for heavy ground or softer ground, and they're after getting it, and it's probably a don't fall off job here, Deck. Who are you talking about, though?
I think so. Look, before I get to him, like there was a couple of others I liked until I kept scrolling down and found this one in there. Like James the Brave, he won the last day. He done okay over hurdles. Still only a 5-year-old. Won at Clarity on his chase debut off 91. He's up £6 here, and up half a furlong. He's actually owned by Peter, who owns Countdown's mother, and he's a really, really nice guy. I chat to Peter every now and again, and he comes over a lot. He lives in London, so I do wish Peter all the best, but I think he's bumping into him here, and it's small town hero. And he, like, when I got overly confident about Clondana going to Down Royal, I was hoping small town hero would come out, and he did.
Apologies there, a few small technical issues, I think, with Dec's voice, but we'll get him to repeat himself. That might sound funny on the playback, but we don't get paid for editing these. So, Dec, again, sorry, who's your fancy here?
Yeah, look, the one I really like here is Small Town Hero, and like I got overly confident about Clondana going to Down Royal, but he was the one I thought would beat us, and I was delighted when he came out. Look, we weren't good enough on the day, but Christian Williams somehow got this horse at a mark of 77, and Ian Donohue's done a fantastic job with him. 1-4 on the bounce, 3 over hurdles, and he's won a chase. I'd still say he's absolutely thrown in off 93, and you know, I tell you, if Ian can keep the run going now after Saturday, he might have to join the top Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he's probably already half there. Like, he came on and done a Cheltenham preview with us. We've interviewed him in the past.
Like, he gave us there, he had some paddy.
Yeah, had a few points with us on Gold Cup Day down at the Arkle Bar. Like, yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, he is. But look, I struggling to see him being beaten now. And Ian probably wouldn't be too happy with us, you know, maybe talking him up. But look, this is a bit obvious for anyone to say. He's got to be much better than 93. I don't know how Christian Williams got him the mark of 77, but like he beat Winnie Hill in a point-to-point, I think, this horse.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
There's loads of ability there. So, yeah, look, I think he's napping at the top material, Andy.
I think he's going to win, yeah.
Yeah, look, he won't be much of a price, but it'll keep the run going for us anyway. It's not our usual style, but just can't look past them. There's another one in there, Lovely Reaction. I'd be keeping an eye on her. She was a hurdle winner in May 24 of 97. She hasn't been seen since last July. She's a chase rating of 97. I'd be hoping she runs a nice race, jumps well, comes home well, and she'll be one I'd be looking forward to getting stuck into next day if she runs a nice enough race. But no, Small Town Hero for me, Andy.
Yeah, I think he'll win as well. It's probably, like, he fits my mantra of a horse, you know, that's on a winning run and is still rated under 100. Obviously, been mixing it between hurdles and fences, hence gets in here off 93. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. The only thing that might stop him, and I know Ian didn't run him at Down Royal because the ground's kind of quick, and he was a reserve anyway, so I think that might have just soured him too. If the ground was extremely testing on Thursday, because his form is kind of on better ground, not as quick as we would have seen at Down Royal, but I don't know if I'd want to get overly testing, but I think, you know, anything outside of the extremes, he should be probably winning this. He looks a cut above these, as you said, even on his point form, and so progressive as a 5-year-old. I think it's just a go and do your job here for a Small Town Hero. Probably is not at the top. Anyway, thanks for listening. That's all we got time for. Right, back to the 12:30, the matchbook. Back-to-back, an operator. I'm assuming B2B is back-to-back. An operator hedging rated Novice Chase. I think I nearly said this was a hurdle race dealer when we're offline deck, but it's actually a Novice Chase. An interesting enough field of 9. The one that sets the standard is probably Glenishling for rated 120 for Gavin Cromwell. Although, you know, I think this race has a cap of 120 if I'm not wrong. Luminous Light, who was a nice enough juvenile hurdler back in the day, has had a few chase starts and has won a chase as well. So, you know, he wouldn't be without a chance there up the top, but does have to give weight away. Bridie's Bow, Keith Donoghue and Gavin Cromwell, another one that, you know, would have to have a chance. You know, was well behind the likes of All Man Dingle and Floor in the Park on the last two, on his first 2 chase starts, but I don't think there's anything like them in here. Good old Cappuccino as well, you know, a nice enough horse for Liz Doyle. And then Don't Tell Jack in his first time hood, a horse that I had a lot of time for last year, and maybe disappointed, probably fair to say disappointed me a little bit, as I really fancied him in that 3-mile handicap hurdle when he last ran. Maybe soft ground is the key to him. On his best hurdle form, he'd have a right chance here, even back at 2 miles. I'm just not sure Thursday is going to be the day for him. Anyway, Dec, who do you like?
It was Glenn Ashling, Andy, that I liked. Has a rating of 120, as you said. Gets £4 off Luminous Light, who has a rating of 18. So well in against that one. There's not an awful lot else to go on. A few of them have hurdle marks of in and around 120. They hadn't all tested them in handicaps. But I will go with the information we have to hand. He has a rating and he's getting weight off a horse rating below him. So look, sometimes it can be quite difficult to know who's off in these rated novice chases. There doesn't always be an awful lot going on. So they're not races I usually really like to get stuck into unless you can find an Tom's raffles in it. But yeah, big Glen National for me, Andy.
Right. Well, what I'll say to you is, I'm not going to have a bet in this race, but I am going to watch Don't Tell Jack Like a Hawk. Like, I'm even just going back through his hurdles form. Like, he was sent off 4-1 to win a Navan Maiden hurdle, which was subsequently won by Gaurav Mahago, who was grade 1 place at the end of the season. He was sent off 13-2 against Kopek de Board on Stevens' day at Leopardstown, Cowabunga and Winnie Hill in that race as well. He was then sent off 9-4 to beat the subsequent Breeders' Cup turf winner Ethical Diamond at the start of February, and a certain Keynesburg in second that day as well, beaten 15 lengths by Ethical Diamond. Was probably not knocked about in a handicap at Naas on his handicap debut behind Jump Belen, who went on and won again at Sandown. I think he goes chasing the weekend, another nice horse. And then he just disappointed me. I really, really fancied him. I thought it was, bar a fall at Ferry House in that 3 mile handicap hurdle. Sent off 6-4, finished mid-division. Hood goes on first time, but on his maiden hurdle form, he is miles better than 120 in my opinion. It's just a matter if they want to win on Thursday, and I have a feeling they mightn't be able to help themselves. But if this horse doesn't win a handicap chase and possibly even runs up a sequence by the springtime, the jaw be nearly on the floor. I wouldn't mind them getting 3 quick runs into him, and then early new year there's that novice handicap chase at Naas that we always kind of earmark. Like, he could be a horse that just rocks up there and we just have the lot on. But we'll see. He's going in the notebook anyway, and I'm going to be following him like a hawk. If there's money for him, I could be tempted as well. But Don't Tell Jack, definitely the horse that you need to put in your notebook, 100% from this race. And then for punting pointers, deck is on Glenisling for Gavin Cromwell. Right, the 1 o'clock, the Irish Stallion Farms EBF Fillies Academy Hurdle. I think this is the first Academy Hurdle we have covered, Deck.
Did we not cover one at Cork? Did we do it?
I don't think we did a Cork pod. I really don't, because I think I would have started talking about Academy Hurdles and how great an idea they were, and that's probably what I'm going to do here. I won't take too much time though. For anybody that doesn't know, an Academy Hurdle is a new incentive in Ireland this year where 3-year-olds basically, they get to run in hurdle races. They're essentially juvenile hurdles. However, if you win one, you get to keep your novice status into next year. So you can run,
and you can run in the bumper.
And you can run the bumper. So there's a lot of positives to this. I think a few of the big stables have had runners, but I think the likes of John Halley, you'll be winning these races and your horse will be for sale. And I think there's a horse that won the Academy Hurdle at, I think it was a Ferry House, wasn't it? The Manila horse that won the Academy Hurdle at Ferry House is going to Cheltenham this weekend to the sale. So, and I'd say he'll fetch a few quid. He's by Study a Man. I can't quite remember his name. It's Manila something anyway. You'll find him in the catalogue, and I'd say he's a very nice horse. And I think you have a few here, like I'm talking about No Big Owners, Highland Crystal here for Robcore. Interesting to see what way the sires go as well. Obviously, a lot of like Derby winners and really, really good 3-year-olds, that would have been forward enough as 2-year-olds. Going to have a lot of runners here in these races going forward. We have the likes of Latrobe represented here, and Hunting Horn, Kew Gardens, who's already been sold out of Castle Hyde. He stands in the UK now. And then we have Walk in the Park. Well, of course, with Walk in the Park, there's loads of them. Kieran Murphy training for Coolmore on that one, out of Ellie Mack. You might remember her. Henry de Brom had trained her. Right, so Deck, the Academy Hurdle, we don't have a whole lot to go on. We only have a Declan Quealy horse that's ran. Infinity Success for Success. First time blinkers, and she's a daughter of Latrobe. So she's the only runner out of them all in the field. It wasn't a bad run. Probably worth noting she was sent off favourite that day. at Cork. She ran okay. She beaten 15 lengths. Would that be enough to back her here, or well, probably not? But is there anything that took your eye?
No, I didn't bother looking at this race, Andy, because there's just not enough to go on, and I wouldn't be as nerdy as you now, getting into the pedigrees and trying to find one that way. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd like
so,
you see. Yeah, fair enough. I don't blame you.
But sorry, Andy, I know the lads very well who own Etcheld with Philip Rodwell. She's in the West Ham colours. So Paula West Ham colours there. I'd call them Aston Villa. But yeah, look, I don't know much about her, but Etcheld means flying, so I hope she is flying at home. But now, just I hope they have a great time there, and they did pick up a couple of races, but I've absolutely no interest in this race. Just it's one for watching. It's definitely not one where I put my hand in my pocket.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Best luck to Etcheld and the connections there. Daughter of Hunting Horn in the Burnley colours, so hopefully she can go well. In the Transan Sport colours. Right, we'll move on to the 135 then. And that is the Matchbook Betting Podcast 3-year-old hurdle. One of the most interesting runners on the card here, the bottom one, In My Teens. I'd imagine she's going to be a short enough order to probably win this race, even though we've Maud Avion, a son of Taj Mahal, full brother to Glen Eagles, debuting for Gigginstown and Gordon Elliott, and he was already a bumper winner an AQPS winner in France. So an interesting enough runner there. King Collins has Sublana in here. A well-experienced filly by Expert Eye, and then we do have a winner in the minus, Francis Cowley training that one. He looked much improved actually. He won very easily at Galway, settled better than he had been, and looked like a different horse. But he probably will find it difficult to give weight all around here. But a nice horse for Francis Cowley. Deck, before I speak about In My Teens and a little kind of an anti-post story, I went down a rabbit hole on this one. Is there anything you fancy or like here?
I'll be with you on In My Teens, Andy, because you've been telling me to put the horse in anti-post bets and doubles and trebles at big odds. So I'll have to be with you on this one. But I do like I'll Be Handy. I thought it was a big step forward now to finish second last week at Fairyhouse, and it's one I will be keeping on side going forward. And as we get into the spring, it's definitely one I'll be keeping on side. But you're very, very bullish about In My Teens. I was a big fan of the mother as well, Jer's Girl. Yeah. So I'll be putting my trust in you and following you in. So I'll let you go and have your little rant. Yeah,
well, it's not really a rant, it's more a story, but it's about punting anti-post, even though I've been telling you to roll this one up. But I'll Be Handy was extremely well backed at Fairyhouse and ran very well, probably bumped into a nice horse last time out, and definitely one that you would have to keep on side. Anyway, Jer's Girl, you might remember her. Pretty much the horse, it's fair to say the horse point put Gavin Cromwell on the map back in 2015, was it 2014, we want to say?
I think she ran her entry in the 3-year-old listed hurdle the same day that Tom Polly beat Many Clouds.
There you go. I only hear this type of stuff on Take a Pull. Jer's Girl started on the flat for Gavin Cromwell. She won a maiden hurdle, and then, as Deck Wright said, I think under Dickie Johnson, won at Aintree, start of December. Now, this is where it kind of started going down the rabbit hole. She then went off 9-2 on Stevens' day at Leopardstown for the Grade 2 juvenile hurdle, and she ran a blinder. She was only beaten ahead by Apple's Jade, who was debuting that day for Willie Mullins. Obviously, she transferred from Willie Mullins to Gordon Elliott after the juvenile season, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the season after. I think it was after juvenile hurdle. Anyway, so Jer's Girl. Sorry, even Apple's Jade. Sorry, she was once raced and a once winner in Vichy in France and was on stable debut for Willie Mullins. She returned that day at an SP of 12-1 and wasn't seen again until the Triumph Hurdle. Now, Jack, I probably told you what her SP was for the Triumph Hurdle. Now, bear in mind, this is a Gigginstown filly that Willie Mullins trained, that was unbeaten in France and Ireland and won a grade 2 on her domestic debut for Willie Mullins. And her next start was in the Triumph Hurdle. What SP do you think she was? Now, this is 2015.
Was that the day all the Gigginstown horses were winning now? Because Tiger Roll won the Triumph that year, didn't he?
Yeah, that's not the one. Yeah, that was the
was
year
there a bit
after.
of a gamble on her now? Was she?
There wasn't. No. There wasn't. There was a gamble on the subsequent winner, who was Ivanovic Gorbachev.
Yeah, she stayed on for third, I think. Did she?
Stayed on for second.
Second.
And
then she bolted up by 40 lengths at Aintree.
And she won pulling a cart at Aintree. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know where to be.
12-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. Returned SP of 12-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. If you fast forward that to 2025, let's say the second coming of Apple's Jade, wins a run-of-the-mill race in Vici and comes over to Willie Mullins' care. For a start, I don't think she's going off 12-1 for the Juvenile Hurdle at Leopardstown. She's sure as shit not going off as 12-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. And this is where you kind of have to be careful with anti-post punting. I don't care what people say to me, that like Apple's Jade probably would have been 12-1 for the Triumph Hurdle before she entered the parade ring at Leopardstown, if that was today. And that's why you have to be so careful with anti-post punting these days. Like, bookmakers are sucking the life out of it, and that's what we try to do here. Is we might give you an anti-post bet, rarely do, and when we do, they probably not that bad, but
it's usually a Grand National double. But
yeah, it's usually something that you can't even back anti-post. But what we're trying to do is we study weekend cards, and we're kind of day to day, and we'll tell you horses to follow. But getting fixated on spring festivals, especially around this time of year, you just need to be careful, because the value that you kind of got 10 years ago is well and truly gone. And going through Jer's Girl's form, kind of just really putting emphasis on that. Like, she mixed it. I'll go back to In My Teens now. Like, she mixed it with the likes of Apple's Jade, Footpad, Ivanovic Gorbachev, and then Gavin Cromwell ran her in the 2.5 mile grade 1 as a 4-year-old, and she won at the as the 11-8 favourite at Punchestown after winning the Mayor's Novice race at Ferryhouse. She was an excellent race mare. And I'd say this her daughter here, In My Teens, very good chance she could end up being better than her. 98 rated on the flat for a start, through 4 starts, 3 seconds on a win, second in a handicap when last seen in mid-October. She will be fit. The only thing that could beat her is probably herself. I'd have little to no doubt she's going to be able to jump well, coming from Gavin Cromwell's. But she is quite a keen going mare. So that's what I'd be a little bit worried about on her debut. Jer's Girl had no problem with heavy ground. Camelots tend to go through it as well, so I have no issues with that. Camelot was also the sire of Sir Eric, who went offshore for a Triumph Hurdle. Obviously, we know what happened there. It was awful, but this is the filly I think everyone should pretty much be talking about, though. Haven't heard a whole lot from her. I thought we would have heard a lot more from her online. You probably will after this. Jer's Girl, also herself by Jeremy. Sons and daughters of Jeremy tend to have gills as well, so I think any kind of soft or heavy ground won't be any problem for her. The only thing that I think that gets her beat here is herself, and she pulls too hard. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. If you do want to have a go, she's around 20-25-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. If she's odds against, probably just back her on Thursday, and you probably get a decent price on Stevens' day as well. She'll probably be favoured on Stevens' day, but Willie will have something to keep her honest. You're taking 25-1 about the Triumph Hurdle, you probably would have got 33s, 40s a few years ago. But I'm looking forward to seeing her. I think she's a really, really interesting prospect now. You're going to follow me in, Deck, but you're very interested in I'll Be Handy.
I'll be keeping I'll Be Handy on side, but I'm buying into the hype here that's coming from you. So
the old man likes our tail, so I'll give him a shout out.
I'll be keeping I'll Be Handy on side as we go forward, and especially as we get into the spring.
Yeah, and moral of the story: be very careful about the prices you're taking anti-post for the main. The 210, the Matchbox supporting Irish Racing Maiden Hurdle. This is over 2 miles or just shy of it. 2:10. Right, so this isn't a bad race either, Deck. Cocktail Brute, a decent enough bumper horse, had a lot of opportunities in bumpers last year, well experienced. Probably takes the pick of these bunch on his bumper form anyway. And we Fedney's Park as well, a walk in the park mare, obviously getting the weight concessions for being a mare. I suppose we have Colcannon. I suppose he needs a shout out as well, the Grade 2 bumper winner. I think I might be half favouring Cocktail Brute at the same time though. I think that race that Colcannon won turned into a bit of a sprint, beating Sortudo. And he was well beaten by Bambino Fever then.
Now he's been heads up at Galway.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
His form is really, really solid, but I would be concerned that he stayed over bumpers.
He stayed in bumpers for 2 seasons pretty much.
Yeah. Like he's 2 from 7 on the rules. And you know, I'd always wondered the Grade 2, and he's beat Heads Up, who's, you know, a second in the bumper. Like I think Heads Up is a really, really nice horse. I just think he's going to be campaigned awfully. You know, we had this the other night. He should be going the 2 mile route until he proves that he's not a 2 miler. But like a horse that was second in the bumper, everyone was raving about the bumper form. All of a sudden, he's going, like, he's won a 2 mile maiden hurdle, and he's going for the Albert Bartlett trial the weekend. I think having trials now in November for race in March is a bit silly as well. But he's gone for that novice staying hurdle race. I think it's nonsense, really. I think it's not the way to campaign the horse.
You stick them and keep them at 2 miles until they can. Yeah, exactly.
Look, Colcannon, he's 2 from 7 over hurdles. He's another one. I really like his mother as well.
She's smart, isn't she? She's a star. Same colours. Yeah.
Same colours, yeah. I'd be concerned now that maybe jumping's not going to be his game. And Cocktail Brew, I think he's going to improve for jumping. He's 1 from 4 over rules. He spent less time in bumpers, and I just think he's going to be a better jumper than Colcannon, and that's why I'd be siding with Cocktail Brew. But I am hoping Colcannon sets the market.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think with Colcannon, he probably should have been 3 for 7, given he was disqualified. He did win a bumper, you know, on a second start, and he was
the jockey weighed in light, I think. Weighed in light, yeah. He actually he won. So yeah, I was at Punchestown that day. He weighed out very, very early, and he went and ran the track a couple of times, and only a young lad, and he weighed in light. So unfortunately, he was thrown out that day, but. I just, when they spend too long on bumpers like that, my concern is that they're not the most natural jumpers in the world, because why get them jumping like it's a gelding? It's not like it's a mare, you know, and you're mopping up black type and it'll stand for like it's a gelding. Get him going jumping, and you know he's a jump horse at the end of the day. So my concern was he's not a natural.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking now myself. Also, the ground. I know Colcannon that day was when he beat Samansrak, it was pretty testing ground. But Cocktail Brute is by Cocorico, who, you know, his progeny tend to have gills, similar to Jeremy. So I think the ground might be in Cocktail Brute's favour, and I do think he's going to be a much better horse over obstacles, as he should be, as they should all be, really. But I think in particular this lad, in comparison to Colcannon, so I'll take a chance on Cocktail Brute myself. Interesting to see Simpson's Paradox in there, a son of Alpha Centauri, going hurdling. I'm sure that's the plan when he was born. Right, thank you for David Betts photography, handicap hurdle. Again, 2 miles, 8 runners deck. Interesting enough race. We do, I suppose we'll go back to Ian Donoghue, because he does have a 7-year-old mare here on stable debut from Peter Fahey, Gone for Tea. Can he work his magic again? I don't know if the ground is going to come up in this mare's favour. I think she might want it slightly better, but who do you fancy here?
I really, really like the look of Philip Rothwell's.
Right.
Yeah, now I'm undecided now. I think Philip's done what should we say, a great job of educating this horse in how to race, and I think the moment for the horse to improve is now. But I just I'm not sure whether he might wait, because I think the stewards report the last day was saying that the horse will improve for step up and trip, and they're running here over 2 miles. I would be slightly concerned now that this the second handicap that he's going to take, another run, and then it might be the next day now when the handbrake comes off. But I'm going to pay to find out anyway, because there was nothing really else I liked in the race, and I'd be confident now if Speak As You Find doesn't win on Thursday, he'll win the next day.
Yeah, I suppose like he's an 11-year-old on a career high mark, but he was in such good form in last seen. Like, if Don't Go Yet was a younger horse, I'd probably be leaning towards him. He obviously his last few runs have been over fences, but like he's probably a well enough handicapped horse off 107. He is definitely a better chaser though. That's the only thing. And it's just that there's so many like kind of question marks about other horses in here.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced.
That's what I think, Andy. I think if Philip wants to win on Thursday, the horse will win.
Yeah.
Only Philip knows. I think it'll be Thursday or the next day. My concern is it's 2 miles again. The horse is probably going to bolt up. It was over 2.5 miles, but I don't know. Maybe there's not always the races there on the calendar either. So maybe it will be Thursday. But I'll pay to find out anyway.
Yeah. Well, there was a big stewards inquiry. I'll read the stewards inquiry on Powerful. Did you read that one?
I read it. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the end. The stewards noted the explanations offered on the basis of the veterinary evidence alone. So the horse cut his leg going over a hurdle and seems like got away with blue murder. The money was probably down on Park that day. I actually do remember that race. That was if you actually go back and watch that one, it was at Kilbeggan in April. Very, very interesting. Anyway, look, Powerful is it's going to be probably tough for a 4-year-old to give weight all around here, but like I just wasn't comfortable enough to get involved with him either. I remember the Damn Clear Skies. Aidan O'Brien trained her. See the Stars mare in the same colours with JP McManus. Very prolific on the all-weather. She was rated like in the mid-70s, and Aidan O'Brien decided to keep her going through the winter one year, and she ended up rated in the mid-hundreds, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, another little nugget. The 245 at Punchestown. The thank you, David. Actually, I forgot to. We just covered that one. I forgot to change the ticker. The 318 is the Conley's Red Mills Irish EBF Auction Maiden Hurdle, as we try to keep it professional here on the Take a Pull podcast. This is a 6-runner event. We have a horse in here, Yeshel, I was kind of excited to see him last year because I quite liked Samanzarak and a few other horses, Active Innocence from that Land Rover bumper. It ended up being one of the worst bumpers ever run. And Yeshel hasn't been seen since a 21 length 8th to Kopek the board on Stevenson's Day last year. So he's obviously had a hold up. He's probably the horse where you want to start here. Like, that wasn't a bad run in the context of this race. Vittorio Piel as well in here for Emmett Mullins, a bumper winner at the Punchestown Festival in pretty impressive fashion, but was beaten at odds on in mid-October by Game Ball, well below par that day. Would you be happy to forgive Vittorio Piel, deck, or is Yeshel one you like, or is there something else in here that takes you fancy?
Vittorio Piel was struck into the last day, so.
Oh, right, okay, fine. I probably should have noticed that. Okay.
You'd absolutely have to forgive him, but I do like Yeshel as well. But off since last Christmas and 20 lengths off Kopek the board. It's a toss-up, I think, Andy. I'll probably won't be having a bet in the race, but, for the show, I'll side with Yeshel. Yeah,
I would too, but it wouldn't be a nap at the top or next best to the top, far from it. The main event probably for you, Deck, is the matchbook best odds on horse racing handicap hurdle. It's a not 100, 348, final race on the card. Going down as low as 72 in this race as well, Rideau Canal. Yeah, top weight 100, just 22 runners and your 3 reserves. I'm going to have to be a passenger here, Deck. I do apologise. I struggled on this race myself. My boy Christie was one I thought might go well, but looking at his pedigree, like he's a half brother to the Wallpark, who is not a fan of soft ground at all. But I thought that booking a Darrell O'Keefe was interesting, but it could be another day in mind for him, potentially when he goes up in trip and sees a bit of better ground. And Kinturk Maggie as well, one that I was thought would kind of improve, related to Kinturk Kalanisi. Ran okay at Navan in March, but I'd want to see a bit more from her. But Deck, who do you like?
Yeah, look, Andy, you know how we spend a good bit of time on the feature.
I know you do, yeah.
I did enjoy going through this and thought it was pure filth. Look, that there's, as usual in these races, there's a good few of them that I've made the notebook here, anyway. As well as Benty, rated 97, was pulled up on handicap debut, but a lot of them were. It was very testing ground. I think it was here at Punchestown, and look, I just forgive that. Never really been better than midfield in his life. Was an eye catcher last day. 4-year-old, slight concern, and I would be a little bit worried about the ground if it is going to be quite testing, especially as it's the last race on the card.
Yeah.
If it really cuts up. Welcome Abroad made his handicap debut over 3 miles in June. The 5-year-old. I'm just not mad on him coming back in trip, but like if it was an easier race, I'd have no problem putting them up. Rocket Baker, 7-year-old, but it was good effort in the, you know, in second handicap over this trip. The last day, finishing second. I think it was at Sligo, up £2 for that. And then run for cover. Was running an eye-catching race the last day when didn't stay, but that was back in June. But Andy, the one I really, really like here, and you know, if I convince you to go with me, is proper nap at the top material. The mare, you're simply the best, rated 75. Geez, we do awful things these days since they changed the handicaps in Ireland. The 5-year-old handicap debut at Sligo last month, went toward running on from midfield, never been off before. I expect massive improvement, and it's probably our day and probably our one and only day. So if anyone's struggling through this car, don't worry, you're simply the best to get you out at the end.
They're simply the best. Yeah, that 87 length 14 to Cowabunga last January does step out as an interesting piece.
You got to be keeping your eye on these ones. You know, as they cross the line, you have to be a big pair of binoculars around the bend.
They're going down to the post for the next race. It's like, get out of the way. I need to see how this one's getting home. Yeah, coming back into the primary.
Boy one on the line. That's all I need to say.
That's all you need to say. One going by. Yeah. All right. I'll follow you in. I can't make it a nap at the top because I can't say I'd be confident in any stretch. I'd be interested to see what price in my teens ends up, and obviously, good to see. Obviously, Ian's in the opener as well. You know, chasing a 4-timer, is it, or 5-timer? 5-timer. 5-timer for Small Town Hero. I could nearly be convinced if I saw money for Don't Tell Jack in the 12:30. I could nearly convince myself it's going to take.
I was on another one, Andy, but I'd follow you in on that one as well.
Right,
hang on, we might get a multiple here. So the Small Town Hero.
Go on.
We've Don't Tell Jack.
Yeah, see how many doesn't double in price, but yeah, go on.
Right, okay. Well, you watch market for that one.
Yeah, watch market.
What else we got? Yes Hill. Tentative Yes Hill.
Tentative Yes Hill. In my teens, if she's not odds on.
Cocktail Brew.
Yeah, there's got to. You'd have to be very careful. Watch the market. A good bit of fun here.
I'll tell you what, Andy. Hang on. We'll take Don't Tell Jack out, right? Just okay. Where he goes. We've Small Town Hero. We've In My Teens. We've Cocktail Brew. We've Yes Hill.
We should be probably making this a double.
Well, my double's gonna be Speak As You Find, and You're Simply the Best.
Well, I'll do that too.
And I'm confident if that lets you down, if Speak As You Find lets you down, he'll get you all the money back the next day.
Yeah. Good old Philip. Yeah. Could it be that New Year's Day race he won with Billy Lee Swagger?
Swagger.
Yeah, that's they're kind of sticking out anyway.
Was that Was that one of
Or was
the
New Year's Eve?
qualifiers? Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. Yeah,
It was New Year's Eve. Yeah, I
like
think it was a
that's the
qualifier.
beast
Yeah.
one.
So he ran in loads of those qualifiers. Yeah, catch the beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he moved you off the following year.
I put him up the night before. I had a small nibble online. I went to the parade ring. I said, right, I'll go out and back this fella now. He was 50-1 the night before, 5-2 or something. I was like, lads. Bolted up. About 20 lengths.
Oh, God, good old Ed Cawley, never change. Right, that's all we've got time for on Tap 124. Tap 125 is going to be Navan. We could or could not be joined by Luke, I suppose. It depends on the night we choose to record. But until then, guys, do stay put. We appreciate your likes and shares. We made it over 4,000 followers as well. Probably good to announce that.
Thanks
so thank you.
much.
Thank you
Thanks very much
everybody.
to Fergal O'Brien.
Oh yeah, good old Fergal giving us a shout out. Yeah.
Welcome, new followers and fans. Might be a bit new to you, this stuff. Talking in depth about 0 to 100 handicap hurdles with such passion. But if you stick around, you'll begin to enjoy it. Trust us.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know. I'm going to actually mention one last thing, Deck, because I put up a poll today. Straight up, it was just a pick 'em, just based on the entries. I was talking about Brighter Days Ahead versus Kopek the board potentially on Saturday. Now, obviously, Brighter Days Ahead is double entered. I'm going to put up another poll in case she goes to the Sunday race, and I'm going to do this with Final Demand as well. The poll is still up on our page. If you don't follow us, at Take a Pull Pod on X. There's 469 votes, so it's not a massive poll, but like it's a fair enough sample size, I suppose. Like, you know, I think I do. You know, people do know the run-ins that follow us as well. 16 hours left on this poll, Deck. It's a straight question: who would win? 68% Kopek the board versus 32%.
Who would win on Saturday?
Yeah, who would win on Saturday. It's not who would win in March. It's not who would win on good ground. Who would win on this? It's who would win over 2 miles on Saturday on supposedly soft to heavy ground. Kopek the board given Brighter Days Ahead £7 for the gender allowance. That result, or it's not a result, but the current numbers 32 to 68, like that baffles me. This is a mare that beat State Man twice.
I'm not surprised that that's the result. That doesn't mean that's my opinion, but I am no way, with the way they finished last season, although he was absolutely walloped last season at Punchestown.
I'm not trying to knock Kopek the board, but this is a mare. This is a mare that won 2 open Grade 1 hurdles and is related to multiple Grade 1 chasers. I always say, Andy,
I'm not convinced if they're really a top class hurdler, and she has won 2 open Grade 1 hurdles, that they make top class chasers. Now I know it's only a novice race, so it's not it's not an open company, but that would be my concern, is that she's had the second season of hurdles, and she might and she was good hurdler, like she's beaten State Man twice, so I don't know. I'm undecided, very undecided on it. Because he didn't exactly respect his hurdles, and he was well beaten at Punchestown.
You could see him standing off a few at Leopardstown at Christmas, couldn't you? Especially down the back. I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to look forward. I can't wait to see Kopek the board. Lovely owners as well. They deserve all the best.
Oh, Sam, absolutely. Yeah. Like David does. I did chat to him every now and again. Look, and I wish them all the best, but at the same time, I have to give him my opinion. And I don't think he's a Majbra.
No, like it's 2/3. Like you're looking at what? It's 3. Like you're going to get the bookies margins, but from 68 to 32, taking in the over round, you're probably looking 7 to 4, 15 to 8 Brighter Days Ahead against Kopek the board.
I'm very undecided. I hope he's a superstar. I really, really do hope he's a superstar, because they're great lads. And I'm not totally convinced by her, because you probably go back to size in Europe to find the last top class
Moscow flyer size in Europe.
You see the argument on the top class chaser.
The counter argument to that is most top class hurdlers don't need to go chasing. Like
No.
by the time Rock on Ruby and Faheen went chasing, they were like past it. But you got horses that won the like Footpad was a good hurdler and he won an Arkle. He was a juvenile hurdler, but he did stay a few seasons over hurdles.
Did he win an Irish
Mouchoir
champion hurdle? Or was he beaten by Petit?
No, I think he was beaten by Petit Mouchoir.
Petit Mouchoir,
yeah. I think, funny enough, Jared Gale, I'm pretty sure, ran in that race as well.
But you know what I mean? Open grade 1 winners over hurdles and open grade 1 winners, like, and a bit more than that. Like, there's very few that are top class at both, and I just think the second season of a hurdles doesn't always help with the chasing career.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's it's been well documented. I personally don't think she's going to have a problem with it, but yeah, if she went chasing last year, probably it would have made probably sense. But in hindsight, she's won 2 grade 1s. She beat Stayman twice, so look, I'd be back in brighter days ahead based on that poll, and they're giving her likely price. I'm going to put up another poll when this podcast is released, so make sure you go follow us and go vote on it. I'm going to do the same poll except Sunday, and if more people are going to vote Final Demand in brighter days ahead, then anyway, but look, we'll see.
The only one that, in fairness, he was between yourself and the machine. The machine tipped him. The
machine said Barra fall.
That's our only winner, like, so.
He even beat Guramago on the game. Was second, wasn't he? The bachelor's beans are left at home that day. So beat the proper Guramago. All right, right. I'll leave it to it then. That's an interesting poll. Thanks for everyone for interacting again. I'll put up the next one with Final Demand quite shortly. But until the next time, guys, that was Tap 124. All the best. And
cheers.